As we move from good to great, there's a lot of things that we have to put in place. You know that we started Destination 2020, our action plan for this year and for years going forward to the year 2020. There's going to be a lot of changes. There have been changes already. There's going to be a focus on instruction. We're going to try to get an effective teacher in front of every child and an effective principal in every school. It doesn't mean that we don't have great teachers and great principals in our schools or that people aren't working hard, but it does mean that there's going to be some changes. As you've seen already, we have the doors open, we have a focus on instruction, we have an evaluation system that we're revising right now, so there's going to be a focus on instruction. Now, with change comes a lot of concerns and questions, and we try to communicate well answers to those questions and concerns through the same page, through the school leadership newsletter, through other written forms of communication, but we also want to communicate in this fashion through this medium where I answer questions that the staff brings to me on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis, and I'll do my best to answer some of those questions and address concerns. So twice a month I'll be answering questions from the staff that they have related to instruction or other things that are happening in the district. We'll take a few questions at a time, and so hopefully you get answers that way and can bring your concerns not only to your principals or executive directors, but through this medium as well. The philosophy behind having the classroom doors open is that we have to have a transparent environment. We have to be transparent in our craft and our profession. That means we should be proud of what we're teaching. We should be open about our practice, and anybody, parent, teacher, administrator, walking down the halls should be able to see how well we're doing our jobs. I'd be concerned if people think that we have to close the doors and not be transparent with the public. Now, I know I've heard them all. I've heard the concerns before. There's noise in the hallway. There's the security risk and all of these things. That has not been proven to be the experience. If there's a lot of noise in the hallways, I think the school has a different sort of problem. I've been in 45 schools already in the first 4 weeks, 4.5 weeks of school, and the doors are open and teachers are teaching. There's not a lot of distractions in the hallway. Also, and let's be clear here, there are exceptions that the principal can make. For example, if there's a classroom right next to the lunchroom and there's a lot of noise during the lunchtime period, right, for that classroom, that door can be closed. Another example would be possibly a classroom where there's a couple runners and the special ed teacher needs to ensure that the child doesn't run away. That's a possibility. So there are exceptions, and those are made on a case-by-case basis by the principal. There's some concern that now we have a lot more people in the buildings and in the classroom. We have executive directors in the classroom. We have people in school leadership in the classroom. You have me in the classroom, although really, think about it, I've been in about 200 classrooms. We have 10,000 classrooms, so I'm not going to be in any one classroom that often. In any case, that's correct. We do have more people in the buildings. We do have more people monitoring and giving effective feedback. That's a new paradigm. That's what we're going to have to get used to. Effective instruction makes the most difference. If we're going to improve our quality of instruction, then we have to have people in the classrooms and people in the buildings. The kids are going to get used to it. They're already used to it. I walk into classrooms, kids pay me no never mind. In other words, they're doing what they need to do, and teachers are moving on and they're teaching, following their lesson plans. They should pay no attention to me and the other people in the classroom. So yes, there is professional development for principals, and it's been pretty intense, and there's a lot of coaching of principals and professional development of principals. There's also professional development of teachers. That's a school leader's responsibility at the building level, but also the executive directors are also interested in what the teachers, how the teachers perform and how they're developed. So you will see, if you haven't already, considerable professional development for teachers. There's an additional 45 minutes of the day, and I know a lot of schools are using part of that time to help grow teachers and to coach them in their craft and in the profession. The spot observations are being conducted on a regular basis. Those instructional feedback forums are a great way to help grow teachers professionally. Teachers should take advantage of those spot observations and the feedback they receive to grow professionally. There's been a reorganization in several departments at the central office level. It started in the summer with the school leadership department. That is because we have to have the systems and the processes and the department structure that will support a focus on instruction and that will support the growth of our schools in both the teacher positions and the principal positions. So you've seen some changes in central office. You'll see a few more changes with regard to positions and function at central office, but it's all to support the schools and the teachers. So eventually we want to make sure that we give differentiated feedback to teachers, and principals need to do that. And principals need to make sure that their feedback is tailored to their schools and their schools' need. For this first year, though, we are making sure that we focus on our core instructional priorities. Our core instructional priorities have to do with alignment. That means having a very clear lesson objective, having a way for students to demonstrate their learning, making sure that kids are engaged through multiple response strategies, and making sure that we have purposeful, aligned instruction. Those are core instructional priorities. That's not everything a teacher needs to do. That's not everything a principal wants to see in a classroom. But when you talk about leverage points, those are 4 of the leverage points, and that's what we're looking at. So the spot observation forum that the principals are using all have those 4 key instructional priorities, and they look the same throughout the system. And the executive directors are ensuring that principals use similar spot observation forums. Providing the lesson objective and demonstration of learning is something the curriculum department, Department of Teaching and Learning can help with. And that's what principals can also assist teachers with that. There's something to be said, though, for teachers being clear about the lesson objective and the demonstration of learning. There isn't just one lesson objective. Yes, there's one standard, and how you break down the standard is important. And so how the teacher defines the lesson objective is a core part of teacher competency. The same thing with the demonstration of learning. There are several ways that students can demonstrate their learning. There isn't just one demonstration of learning for every lesson objective. So while the Department of Teaching and Learning and the School Leadership Department can help teachers with lesson objectives and demonstrations of learning, it really is part of the teacher competency. And the real key then is for principals and school leadership to help train and develop teachers to write effective lesson objectives and demonstrations of learning. No, the new teacher evaluation system will include multiple measures of student achievement. We want to make sure that they also include growth indices. So somehow we have to look at where a student started with their academic proficiency in a particular subject and where they ended. The Classroom Effectiveness Index and the School Effectiveness Index is a measure that Dallas ISD has used for quite some time. It's valid, it's reliable, and we're going to continue to look at that measurement as one of the indicators of growth of student proficiency.